Hello, guys. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Greetings and salutations to all. This is Delvin, and a warm welcome to all at MUSC Red Devils NCR. As we continue our post-season review, where we take stock of the entire season that has bypassed us, Antariksh began this series of the postseason with his review of the entire season. I came up with an episode before this as to the five games that summed up our season perfectly. Today, we will talk about a little bit of the players from an individual perspective, where each of these, we will talk about the contributions of certain players, and we will talk about how exactly it impacted the course of our season, whether it was during the start of the season, whether it was in the middle part of the season, or whether it was during the end of the season. Today's video, before I start with the video and before I talk about the video in detail, another gentle request to each and every one of you to like our channel, to subscribe to our channel, and to share this video to as many United fans as possible. Do go ahead and smash that like button. The off season is upon us, but I promise you that the duration and the content that we will come out with will not stop. The show must go on, and we at MUSC Red Devils NCR always believe in giving out content in large numbers. So do go ahead, join us in our journey of reaching 2,500 subscribers on YouTube, and also do let us know in the comment section as well, what do you feel about the video, and what exactly do you feel about this topic. So today's topic is basically the five Man United players whose performances have gone under the radar and whose performances have been massively underrated in the grander schemes of things. They were initially not expected to be a massive difference maker as far as the season is concerned, but then they grew in stature and they made sure that their performances were finally recognized. The first player is my personal favorite, and I've been a vociferous advocate of him as far as his contributions in this cause are concerned, and that is Aaron Wan-Bissaka. As we all know, the Spider from Croydon has had arguably his best season in a United shirt, but it was not smooth sailing at the start of the season. Uh, a mixture of injury issues and his supposed reluctance to change as per the situation, the process, or the tactical system of Ten Hag. It was a given and it was an absolute certainty that Wan-Bissaka would be one of the first names to be shown the door. And it was also rumored that quite a few clubs were vying for his signature as well. But everything changed post the World Cup break. Diogo Dalot, who was one of our finest performers in the first half of the season before the World Cup, got an injury, and that paved the way for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, to stake a claim in the season. It was basically a baptism for fire because Aaron Wan-Bissaka had not played for quite a while. He did not play since that one game in the preseason, and it felt like it was a tall order. But Wan-Bissaka has been a revelation in this season. You can see that he's more assertive with the ball. He's more confident. He does not put sideways passes anymore. He's been given the license to make runs ahead, which is something that we've not seen throughout his United career before this season. And his propensity to cross has increased, although there is a mixed level of success as far as the accuracy of those crosses are concerned. But he is not afraid to cross. One particular caveat is that he is reluctant to shoot still, which is still visible. But boy, he has had a season for the ages, and he has. It would be unpopular, but I would go so far to say that he has been one of our best performers in the second half of the season. He's been reliable. He's done brilliant things, especially in the big games. And the highlight for me throughout the course of his season was sending Rodri and Bernardo Silva for a kebab with that electric piece of skill. And the second one is obviously pocketing Mitoma both the times that we faced Brighton and Hove Albion in the second half of the season. So for me, Aaron Wan-Bissaka remains one. Aaron Wan-Bissaka's performance does not get enough credit, and it is time that Aaron receives his flowers from the wide majority of the United fan base. The second player whose contributions have often gone unnoticed is Victor Lindelof. Now, Victor Lindelof has had a pretty peculiar history with the club. signed by Mourinho. He's always had a polarizing opinion among the fan base as someone who's extremely good on the ball but has no physicality and no body strength to cope to the rigors of the Premier League. And initially it was true, but then this season again he's another one of those players who received limited opportunities at the start of the season, up to the point where he did express his frustration while on national duty with Sweden about the lack of opportunities given to him. But Lindelof, being the hard-nosed, headstrong Swede, the Viking that he is, he never let it affect him. He was an utter professional. He kept his game face on and patiently waited for his opportunity, which arose when Varane was injured initially, and then it was Martinez who was injured. So up stepped Lindelof, and boy, he's been great. He's not been spectacular. He's been solid, and his performances have been very good. Paired alongside an entirely new, different centre half. Initially, it was him and Luke Shaw. Then it was Varane and Lindelof. He's been very, very composed. His passing abilities have never been under question. But seeing Lindelof play without Maguire being the other centre back goes to show how good a player Lindelof is, and that his weaknesses were only magnified because of a direct result of playing alongside Maguire. So it just goes to show how individually talented these players are if they are not paired with a certain player. And Lindelof is one big example of that. A pleasing aspect of Lindelof's game throughout the course of the season has been his ability to go full-blooded into tackles and emerge as the winner of that tackles. You could see a mean streak. You could see him get into tackles against physically superior opponents, and he's come out the better. A classic example was him coming face to face against Kelechi Iheanacho in the Premier League game against Leicester at Old Trafford and emerging victorious in that tackle. These were the type of tackles that you would not see Lindelof get better at, but to his credit and to United's benefit, Lindelof has emerged as one of the better performers in the second half of the season. The highlight of Lindelof's season will be that winning penalty against Brighton. I mean, come on. Nerves of steel. He was called the Iceman for a reason, and that penalty was enough evidence as to why. So Lindelof is my second underrated performer of the season. Coming to the third one, this is a rather mixed opinion because once when I tell the name, you would say, but hey, he has been one of our best performers of the season throughout, and his performances have been appreciated left, right, and center by all. I agree, but hear me out. My third underrated performer is Luke Shaw, but as a centre back. Now, we all know that Luke Shaw as a left back has had a brilliant season. His performances are up there, as him being christened as one of the Premier League's best left backs this season. He's outperformed the likes of Robertson. He's outperformed the likes of the other left backs, Ben Chilwell or whoever you say. He's been one of the best performers in that position, and he's been one of United's best performers throughout the course of the season as well. But his performances as centre-back have added another level of tactical nous, another level of finesse, and another level of excellence to a player who's just approaching the peak of his career and who seems to be very, very comfortable with the principles imparted by Ten Hag and the philosophy that Ten Hag wants to preach. Luke Shaw has a very innate and an intricate understanding of ball progression and build-up. Alongside Lisandro Martinez, Luke Shaw has been our best ball progressor of this season. And putting him at centre-back was a bit of a tactical masterstroke by Ten Hag because Luke Shaw is very comfortable with the ball at his feet. And if you go and have a glance at any of the left-sided centre-backs at the Premier League, you will see that they are very, very proficient with the ball at their feet. Luke Shaw at centre-back provided just that impetus. Where Lisandro Martinez was benched after his World Cup shenanigans, Luke Shaw emerged as one of the best performers at centre back. His highlight being his performance from left centre back against Bournemouth, where he scored and he assisted a goal. And obviously, who can forget his amazing performances at centre back against Barcelona as well. So Luke Shaw at centre back was a revelation, and this is something that Ten Hag will definitely use throughout the course of his career at Man United. And it goes to show the proficiency that Shaw has, that he was selected over Harry Maguire, who all this while has been a natural exponent of that left centre back position. Being a left-footed defender always helps, but you always need to have the skill set, the quality, and the temperament to succeed in a particular position. Luke Shaw has done that in spades this season, in spades. And that is why, for me, Luke Shaw is one of the underrated performers of the season, but at centre back. Coming in at number 4, this is going to be a very unpopular opinion for sure. It is going to be a very, very unpopular opinion, but I believe that there is a certain level of credibility and a certain level of credit to be given to this individual. And this individual whose performances have gone under the radar is David De Gea. Now, there is obviously a huge debate school about De Gea's position at the side. Some believe that he should not be in the side altogether. Some believe that he should be sold. Some believe that he should be there, but as a backup, come what may. He has won the Premier League Golden Glove. Also, there have been certain performances where he has single-handedly managed to get us the 3 points. United, without those saves of De Gea, would have been in an entirely different proposition as it is. A lot of people will talk about the fact that it is his job, but yes, remove those saves aside and we are at least 7 to 8 points short. De Gea has been good. He's not been great. He's not been woefully bad. Yes, there are high-profile mistakes, but there have been mistakes from other keepers as well. Now, keep in mind, I'm not defending De Gea here. This is just fact. You go ahead and see Eric Edison. He's been a walking goal conceding machine, despite the fact that City won the Premier League title with ease. But even Alisson has had his fair share of mistakes. David Raya, you name any goalkeeper in the Premier League, they've had their share of mistakes. But David De Gea's performances this season have ensured that United finished in third position. His performance against West Ham, where he saved 2 certain goals, which would have given West Ham the equalizer at both stages of that game. Then we talk about his pinpoint double save against Leicester when the game was scoreless. Leicester could have taken the lead there and the game could have had an entirely different picture. De Gea to the rescue. Newcastle, even though we eventually ended up losing that game at St. James's Park, it was De Gea's heroics that kept us in the game throughout the course of the first half. And these are just certain performances on the tip of my tongue. There are N instances where De Gea has kept us in the game. Oh yes, here's another one where he saved a point-blank Jules Koundé header in the game when the score was 1-1 in the second leg of the Europa League playoff at Old Trafford. Had that Koundé goal gone in, we would have been out of the Europa League. But there is De Gea once again. So these are the performances that have definitely gone under the radar because of the mistakes. So for this very reason, I believe De Gea's contributions this season are underrated. Winning the Golden Glove is a fitting achievement for the season that he's had, and he wholly deserves it despite of whatever people say. The last player for me who's had a kind of an underrated season is this is a very tricky proposition to to pick between, because there are 2 players who I feel, but this player just edges us a bit, and that is Fred for me. Now people will say, why Fred? What has he done? Well, there have been instances where McTominay has not been at his fluent self. Casemiro had missed 8 games due to suspension. And we had not signed Sabitzer up until then. But there was this period where Fred was a beacon of positive intent and a positive type of chaos in that United midfield. Whenever Eriksen was tired and could not complete the 90 minutes, which was a majority of this season, Fred was called upon the last 25 to 30 minutes with his unique brand of disruption. Now, when come correct, Fred is one of the most chaotically brilliant players in our United side. His brand of chaos makes sure that the opponents are always on their toes, whether or not it is for a fleeting instance or no. Fred has been that energizer bunny for us throughout the season with his substitute appearances. And that is what I believe sets him apart from the rest of the midfielders because he's done a damn good job at it. Arguably, his most perfect performance of the season coincidentally had to come at the Manchester derby, where he was assigned one job: mark the living daylights out of Kevin De Bruyne. And Fred, being the pastor that he is, successfully managed to put on the clamps on De Bruyne at that game. It gave you a stark reminiscence of the man-marking job that Ander Herrera did on Eden Hazard during that United-Chelsea game way back in 2017. But Fred, a beacon of positive intent. He's chipped in with his amount of goals as well. He's been brilliant at times. He's been the game changer for quite a few of those games. Scoring the opening goal in that game against Spurs, scoring the equalizer against Barcelona in the second leg, scoring in FA Cup games, being a constant presence when known that he is going to be a substitute but called upon. He nevertheless does the job with a smile at his face. He said it himself. He's the person who carries the piano so the rest of them can play it. And that analogy describes Fred's 22-23 season perfectly. That is why for me, he is the fifth player whose performances have gone unnoticed this season. So to highlight these players once again, it was Victor Lindelof, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw, but at centre back, David De Gea and Fred. You will definitely have different opinions compared to mine, so please go ahead in the comment section and let me know whose performances have gone under the radar for United during the course of this season. This brings us once again to an end of another episode where we speak about the postseason, where we dissect the entire season for United throughout the course of this week up until the big FA Cup final. Thank you so much once again for tuning into this episode. A special reminder before I conclude this video that MUSC Red Devils NCR are collaborating with Skull Candy for the Grand FA Cup final, the United versus Man City FA Cup final on June 3rd. It is going to be held at Smash Dwarka. Entry starts from 6:30 p.m. There are a wide range of offers that you can avail. So please go ahead, join in large numbers. We've had screenings throughout the course of this season, and they have been roaring successes, irrespective of the fact whether United have ended up winning or losing games. And that's not all. A few of you lucky people stand a chance to win exclusive Skull Candy merch because of a host of insane and exciting contests that will be held during the course of that screening. Make sure that you get yourself to Smash Dwarka. Once again, it's on the 3rd of June, 6:30 p.m. onwards. Do join us there. We're going to have a blast. So this brings us to the end of this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Delvin signing off. We'll come up with another episode. I'll see you on the other side. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy. GGMU to all.